Hey guys, how's it going? WebElite here today, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to create an RGB slider color picker. It's a very simple process, and we're going to be doing it in pure JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. It's extremely simple to do, and yeah, let's get started, I suppose. What you want to do first is you want to open up your text editor. I've opened up Sublime Text because that's just what I use, and you want to start by creating the outlay of your HTML document. If you're on Sublime Text, you can simply type out HTML and just click tab. Wait a second, you have to first go and ahead and create a new directory. Let's just call this color for now, and I'm just going to call this index.html, and now we can go ahead and type it out and click tab, and as you can see, it will create our HTML document for us. I'm going to go ahead and give it a title of color picker, and I'm going to create a new script. Keep that, and a new CSS style little block. Not going to get to any of this just yet. We're just going to be creating it for now. First off, we need to start by creating the actual HTML. So what you want to do is you want to create a new div with a class name of picker. Then you want to create a new input with a type of range. We can go ahead and get rid of the name. It's not necessary to us right now. You want to give it a min value of 0, a maximum value of 255, because that's how RGB works. It has values from 0 to 255. That's for red, green, and blue. You then want to go ahead and give it a step of 1 and an ID, sorry, no comma, an ID of red. Now that's our very first input done. I'm then going to go ahead and give it a little name, I suppose, so that people can tell the difference. And I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste it twice. I'm gonna rename this to green, and this one to blue. Now we're gonna also rename the IDs to green, and once again to blue. And that's that done for now. What we then want to do is we want to create another div, and this is going to be where the user can see what the color that they have made looks like. So I'm going to give this a new ID of display, and we're just going to leave it as is like that. Now we're going to start. Now if we go ahead and view this within our browser, I forgot what it was called, I think it was color. Yeah, that's it. It's nothing special yet. Well, we're going to change this obviously within CSS, not a bunch, just the positioning and the looks of it and the actual box. So now that we've got that out of the way, we can go ahead and do the CSS as I just stated. We're going to do the picker first, and we're just going to give this position of absolute, a top of 0, a bottom of 0, left 0, and right 0. We're just going to give it a margin of auto. This is so that it centers it within the middle of the page. I'm going to do that. We're going to specify a width of 720 pixels and a height of 180 pixels. So that's picker done, so that's the container just here. If we go ahead and view this in the browser, you'll see that picker is now centered within the middle. These aren't actually centered because they're not fit to size yet, but we will do that now. Just going to quickly create a little body block, and I'm going to give it a font family of Helvetica New Helvetica. That's just so our text looks a little better. I'm going to go ahead and use display. I'm going to reference that. I'm going to give it a width of 100% and a height of 100 pixels. We're going to give it a background of hash 730882. This is the color I've chosen. You can choose whatever color you want. This is just a light actually not a little bit of a dark purple. It's just a color I like. You can choose any one you want. You're just going to make sure you know the RGB values later on for it. I'm then going to set a transition of background 100 milliseconds. Now this isn't a requirement. I just like the looks of it. You can get rid of this if you don't like it in the end, but this is just how I prefer it. And finally, for the last input, for the last block of CSS, the input tags, I'm just going to give them a display of block and a width of 100%. Now if we go ahead and look at this, not much will have changed other than this and the way that these look, but yeah, that's what it looks like now. I'm going to make this look a little bit better because I don't like the way it's positioned. I'm just going to give it a margin top of 30 pixels. So now it should be a little bit better looking. Awesome. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and actually a little bit, we can just give this a border of 1 pixel solid, and we can just do 000 for black. So now that this is done, we can go ahead and move on to the JavaScript. I'm going to go ahead and create a new script tag. Actually no, we've already done this. However, this cannot be done in the head of the HTML document. It needs to be done within the body, otherwise it won't work properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to specify a new variable called input. I'm going to set it equal to document.query selector all input, and that's it. We're then going to create a for loop, and I'm going to say for variable I is equal to 0, sorry, no two spaces, I is less than input dot length I plus plus. So this is pretty much going to iterate through all of the inputs. So it's going to select all the inputs, and it's going to go through each and every one of them so that once they're changed, it actually updates the values. I'll explain more later on. We're then going to do input I, so get the value of I, so it's the first or second input. Input I dot add event listener input function, and we're just going to end that. Awesome. So now we can go ahead and create the actual RGB function. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable. We're going to call it red. I'm going to set it equal to document.get element by ID, and I'm going to say red. So it's getting this element just here, and we also want to make sure that we get the value of that, not just the element. Lol. So now that I've done that, we're also going to want to specify blue and green. So we'll go ahead and do that now. We'll say green is equal to document.get element by ID green dot value, and then blue is equal to document.get element by ID blue dot value. Now that's the end for setting the variables for that. We'll then go ahead and actually make it so that it changes the background color of the div that we just set. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and say variable display is equal to document.get element by ID display. So it's getting this element just here. Then I want to say display dot style dot background. So set the background CSS for this just here, and we want to set it equal to string. I'm going to do RGB and just close that off. I'm then going to exit out of the string, and I'm going to create a comma. I'm going to exit out of the string again, create another comma, and exit out of it again. We're then going to concatenate on the value of all the red, green, and blue. So red green, and blue. So what it's going to do is it's going to get all of the values from this every time it's updated and put them pretty much just here. It's actually fairly simple if you look at it. It's just getting the values of this and putting them just there. Awesome. So if we go ahead and test this, you'll notice that it looks a little bit off because this, if you change it, nothing will happen. What we want to do is we want to we want to set the value of this equal to 115, 10, and 162. Now this is the RGB value for the hex value of 730AA2. So if you've chosen another color, you need to know the RGBA value of that, or you can just put the RGB here. I just know the hex and the RGB, so I just put them both. So if I go ahead and refresh this, you'll notice that they've changed, and if we move this around, it should be working. Why isn't that working? Let me just check this. I said input.length, not length. So I want to go ahead and refresh this, and now you'll see that the color is changing. Now if we go ahead and go into inspect this, if we go ahead and get rid of the transition, you'll notice it's like a little bit more snappier. I just prefer it with the transition. It looks a bit cleaner, as you can see. Now this works for all of the sliders. Unfortunately, I don't know RGB. If you know RGB, you can get any color that you want. It's pretty much just a matter of testing, really. So yeah, I hope this tutorial helped you guys. If you want, you can comment down below, and I will create another tutorial, part 2 for this, where I'll show you how to get the alpha values and make it so that it turns transparent. I can show you a little bit of an example if I go to here, and you'll notice we have an alpha value, and if I turn it down, you'll see that there's a little transparent. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.